Welcome back, everyone. Positive Vibes, Session 7, the music production workshops by Unique Talent CIC. All of our contact details are in the top right of the screen. So if you need to get in contact with us, please do. If you've got any questions about the workshop, come back to us as well. Like it's bold in it, the red. The law. This one's really important. How do you stay contractual safe? And how do you sort of copyright and keep everything safe as well? So the session outcomes for this one is protecting yourself, your brand, your image, and then most importantly, your time as well, because you don't want to put in all this work and write all these lyrics and then it's all in vain, or someone steals it and takes it away from you and copies your stuff. You have to protect this. This one is really vital. So copywriting your stuff, keeping it safe, your legal rights. This is what we're going to go into. There's a lot of detail in this one. This one might have some of you yawning. So yeah, but you know, I encourage you, soak this one up, because this is the one where, you know what, it can save you time, money, energy, legal battles, all that horrible stuff that I wish no one has to go through, right? So who owns the music? When you're making your music, who owns it? Yeah. So it's a kind of a double whammy question. There's two sides to this, and you really need to get this one to grips, because many people make the mistake. Many people go to a producer, get a beat. Yo, bro, you got a beat. They get a beat off the guy. The guy gives them the beat. They rap over the beat, and there's many cases I could talk about. So Solid Crew, More Fire Crew, loads of them. We'll come onto it. Your brethren gives you a beat, informal, no contracts, nothing's going on. Yeah, sends you the files. You rap over the tune now. Next thing you know, the song blows up. Yeah, song blows up. And you start getting, you're the artist, you've put lyrics over it, you've kind of coordinated it, and you automatically assume that, okay, it's my song, I get the music. But this is the question: who owns all the music? Do you own all that music? And the question is, in that scenario, no. Yeah, the answer I'm going to give you right now is the person who writes a song owns the legal rights to it. So if you write the lyrics to it and you put together the structure of it and you do everything around it, that is your song. Yeah, but that only covers the lyrical content on that song. Yeah, so if you own the lyrical content, you may choose to perform the song yourself, or you may choose to sell the rights to somebody else so they can perform it as well, and you're giving them permission. But there's going to be a cost for that as well. And yeah, so you can buy and sell that music because it's yours. You writ it, you put the lyrics together, as long as you've not copied it from somebody else as well. Now, that's just the lyrical content. The beat, the producer who made that song and composed the lyrics and put the instrumentals together and the beats and the composition together, they own that beat. That beat belongs to them. So technically, it should be 50-50 down the middle, or whatever you agree. But in many cases, what's happening is people are not putting the agreements in place before they put out songs. They're only getting to the legal terms and conditions once the song gets big. And this is where it gets messy and people end up in court, because there's now money involved. And people are upset because this person's making money. And this, I'm not going to go too deep into what cases they were at. This happened with So Solid Crew, More Fire Crew, and all these different garage bands who didn't have the legal structures and the proper support in place. Yeah. So it's very vital as an artist that when you're taking beats from somebody, you either buy them, yeah, because you can buy them, which means you've got full rights to that song. But when you buy it, you need to have something in place, a contract in place, or you need to have something physical where you can come back and refer to at a later stage, if ever challenged, an email or a receipt for your work to say that you own it. And only when you buy it and you have receipt of ownership or proof of ownership of that beat, and the wording in that the email or the contract has to be very clear that you own the full rights to that beat. If music is played, sold, if it's used in performances, you own the full rights. And it's very, very worth getting a solicitor to draw up a general template for any of your songs where you can, or beats that you're buying off people, or if you're doing collaborations with somebody. Yeah, you may pay someone to do a collaboration, or the collaboration may be free. That person may come on your song for free. But it's very important that you establish these things before you put out big songs. If you're getting features, make it very clear that you're featuring for free. But then get them to sign something, or get them to send you a statement so they know. So when it comes further down the line and the song blows up and the guy's featured on your song and he says, yo, I want my 20% now. Or even he could even come to you and say, I want 50%, because he might argue that he made the song big, or what it is. I can't stress how important this is, man, because you could be putting out work, or you could be putting in work for years, and you're now blowing up and you've invested, and you've got so many features on your album or production that you're putting out, and then you've got 10 people coming back to you saying they want 50, 60, 70, 80% because they made the song what it is. And it gets technical and it gets legal and it's hard. And you could be put out of thousands or millions if the song gets that big. Yeah. This is the same for instrumentals. This is the same for productions. This is the same for creative spoken word. Whatever you're putting out there, this is universal. This goes across all boards, and it is vital to know who owns the music and avoid future legal battles. So vital. So before you put out a song, and if you've got features or if you've got producers making beats for you, pay them for their stuff. Or if they're giving it to you for free, get that written down so you know who owns the music. Yeah. But if you're writing the lyrics and they're your original lyrics and you've written them and you've not copied them from nowhere, that is yours. If you're a producer as well and you produce the beat, that is 100% yours. You can sell that. You can lease it to someone to use. You can give someone rights. You can perform it. No one can tell you what to do with that. Yeah, that is yours, and that's the position that everyone wants to be in. Unfortunately, not everyone's gifted and talented like that, and they cannot write the lyrics. They cannot produce. They cannot do all the things, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're in a position where you can, you're blessed. You're gonna go far. Let's go back to basics. What is a copyright then? Yeah, it's very simple. A copyright is copyrighting a musical work that automatically begins to you. It's something that you have created, a document that you've created, something that you've recorded that is yours. Yeah, and so the copyright is proving that you have the ownership of that you produced it. Yeah, that you designed it, that you put a patent on it, and it comes under the Design and Patent Act 1988. All right. So it's a copyright of a musical work, and then automatically once that something belongs to you, but it's having that proof, that backup that belongs to you, that is your piece of work. So it's about the ownership, it's about the protection of your work, and it's to stop theft, it's to stop people from copying your stuff. Yeah. And it's vital to know, because if you're in this for the long term, Bob Marley style, legacy, Elvis Presley, all these type of people, it's vital to know that in the UK, that copyright only lasts for 70 years post-death. So when you die, 70 years after you die, that music, the copyright of those music only lasts for 70 years after someone dies. And there's so many songs out there now where people have died 70 years ago, or whatever it is. Not many artists, but there's so many artists where the songs become free. When it's played on radio, no one pays them for it. Their family doesn't get nothing because it only lasts for 70 years after death. And yeah, this has been done with some of Michael Jackson's and different people's songs as well, because they've not been copyrighted properly. But you can overcome this. You can transfer music, you can sell music, you can gift, you can transfer the ownership of the music to a family member before you die, similar to property. So I think property 7 years before you die, there's no inheritance on it, or no inheritance tax. Something like that. Don't quote me. I have to look into that. Different subject. But with music, before you die, it's good to transfer the ownership of music, and loads of people do it. Big artists do it. They transfer the ownership, and that means that your son or your family member, they now own that music and they get the copyrights to that song for the rest of their life. Music's an investment, man. It's such a beautiful thing to hear it. The fact that you can copyright a song and you can pass that down, the copyright, to a child or a family member or a parent or someone you love. That's nice, man. So powerful. So you can get extra copyright protection through PRS and the MCPS. So you have to become a member of the Performance Rights Society, that's PRS, or the Mechanical Copyright Protection Society, MCPS. And then you give permission for them to protect your music and collect the royalties on your behalf. As a member, they will go out there and make sure that anytime your music's been played or performed or seen anywhere, that you are benefiting and you are reaping the rewards of your work. And they will come back to you and they will give you the money that they collect on your behalf. Obviously, there's membership fees and stuff like that as well. But yeah, you transfer limited rights for anyone who plays your music in public. Live performances, radio, TV, broadcasting, film, advertising, live streaming. PRS have the mechanisms to pick this up, and then they will make a note every month, and then you'll get money back every month. Ringtone, even if it's ringtones, down to that as well. And they monitor it, man, and they collect the royalties that you're due, your hard work. They collect it. But this is how a lot of big artists are paid. The mechanicals, radio play, studios, wherever it is, the mechanicals pick up on it. So MCPS pick up on, they do all the administration rights, and then they do the copy, CD press, and they make sure that it's got a digital imprint, so they can pick up on it. Yeah. Copy, so copy your music. So when your music's played, it's got a specific code to it. It's all deep, man. Real deep stuff. Yeah, and if your stuff's rented or downloaded in the public galleries, they make sure that all this stuff's picked up on. Be very difficult for you and a team to pick up on where your music's been played, but these people have the mechanisms and the structures in place to make sure that you're rewarded for your music or wherever it's played, radio, TV, whatever it is. They make sure that you are rewarded for your stuff. So very important. When you get into a certain level, even at a low level, start registering with these big people. This is part of the business plan. This is part of taking your music serious as well. And if you want to be a professional, you want to take your stuff to the next level, you need to be registering with these big bodies. Yeah. The key question now, you're probably thinking, right, I need to get involved with that, or how can I do that? So how should you copyright your music? So there's basic ways you can do it. Yeah. There's basic ways you can do it. And remember, copyright is about proving that you was the creator, that you made that piece of music. So there's basic things you can do. And just note, there's no official route of copyrighting your work in the world. There's not even UK specifically, or across the world. But it's all about creating, showing evidence about the creation and ownership. So you just need to evidence that you created that stuff, and that can be done electronically or emailing or in post. I know people that do it in post. That's a bit rare now. Or saving the work in a specific file with a date on it. Or a time-trapped or time-stamped copy. You can email it to yourself. You can save a physical copy somewhere. A lot of people, what they do is they will get a physical copy, put a note in there to say that this music was created on signed, dated, with all the files, everything on it, and then they will post it to themselves, record a delivery, leave it sealed, and then put it away somewhere. That's an old school way of doing things. Yeah, so people do it by recorded delivery. Some people even put it in their banks in a safe storage place, which is quite interesting. I've never heard of that before. So yeah, and these are the things that give you legal proof. So if someone did try to copy your music or it went to court, you could say, no, I've got the letter here. And they would be asked the same question, can you prove it? And it's going to be very difficult for them to do that. And I also would encourage you to register it with PRS Mechanical, because that's a digital stamp. They will be able to back you up as well. So if you do want to do this, there are some ways you can do it, and there's so many websites that can help you in terms of copywriting as well, legally. So you can, if you Google copyright my music, there's so many things you can do. And some of them, as a stage one, they will ask you to obviously have your recorded music, a tangible, something tangible, whether that's digital or physically recorded onto a CD or something like that. And then you obviously have to register an account with one of the sites, Copyright Office website, for example. Fill out the copyright registration forms. There's going to be a fee as well, so you will have to pay if you're going to use some of these sites. If you don't want to do it yourself, and you just want an extra legal company to be sort of hold it on your behalf, and then you submit a copy of your song, and then wait for your registration to be processed. What they will do is they'll compare it as well. Some of these companies compare it with other music out there, just to make sure that it is definitely your original piece as well, and they will certify it. And that's how you copyright it. So why would you copyright your music? This is pretty obvious, yeah? This stops people from stealing your stuff. This stops you from putting in work and creating something great and then having someone 10 years down the line claiming that it's yours. And there's so many times this happens. This stops people from literally replicating your music and making money off what you've done. You're the creator. And I think most importantly, you need to be rewarded for your hard work. If your music's recognized and you created that, why should someone else come along and copy it and try and take the credibility for that? Yeah. And copyright gives you proof of ownership. It's almost like a V5 document, like a car registration doc. Yeah. And it gives you the sole authority to copy the music, issue, lend, rent copies of it. It gives you sole rights to perform it or play it. And no one else can do this without your permission or paying you. And even if they're going to pay you, they have to get permission. So they can come with $1 billion and you can say no. It'd be silly to do that, but yeah. And then, yeah, it helps you to communicate the music to the public, broadcasting, TV, all that sort of stuff. And then you have full control over the music. No one can tell you anything once it's copyrighted. It's yours. It belongs to you. No one can try to steal it, tell you to alter it. It's yours. But the most important caveat here is, long as you've not copied parts from anybody else. So it works two ways. You can't copy, then try and copy, and then try and copyright that. Don't work like that. Another thing you can do is trademark your stuff. So this is more about image, logos, names, different things like that. Trademarking also protects and copyrights people from stealing your name, your brand, your image, these sort of things. It becomes your intellectual property. You know that special R where it's got the R with a circle? You can see it in the second paragraph. You can put that by your stuff if you trademark your stuff. So if you've got a design, if you've got you know, anything like that, a design or a logo, a sign, expression, which identifies your product or your service or your brand, then you can trademark it. This process is quite tricky because there's so many brands and different things out there. McDonald's is trademarked, KFC is trademarked. All these big brands will be trademarked, and a lot of people coming through will trademark their stuff to stop people from coming up with something similar. Yeah. And yeah, it becomes your calling card. It becomes yours. No one can touch it. It's the same as copyrighting your music. And then you can add that symbol, the R, which means copyright protection. Yeah. And applying for a trademark is pretty straightforward, but it is a process because you have to search and make sure that the thing that you're putting forward is not